You know, I used to think Zach was exaggerating when he reviewed NPC comics. If anything, he wasn't forceful enough in conveying the magnitude of how far comics have fallen. Comics aren't comics anymore. They are cultural Marxist propaganda. They are keynotes in infrastructure. They are controlling the hearts and minds. But luckily, socialists are really bad at propaganda, and NPC comics are so bad that less and less people are buying them every year. It's bad for the comic book shops, but NPCs are willing to burn an industry down to deny it to the enemy. If you paid $4 for this, why? What did you do in a prior life that you feel the need to subject yourself to this Marxist cancer? You should have spent $4 on Kleenex, and it would have been money better spent. They say feminism is worse than cancer, because more people recover from cancer. But this book is distilled extract of feminism. That's sort of a nasty visual. It's Gail Simone's feminist wet dream. That's an even worse visual. The story has a plot, but it's not important. It bites off more than it can chew. Gotta save the world or something, but it's not very believable that this group of scowling, soy latte-sipping millennials can save anything. The only interesting thing in the comic are elements other than the main characters. The single image of the Celestials was the most compelling image in the book. The next most interesting character was Deadpool. The reader will probably go looking for a Deadpool book to read instead, and they should, because Deadpool is an interesting character, because he isn't politically correct. At least, not yet. I'm sure that's on the horizon, because Marvel Comics is eager to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Domino Hotshot #1 sold 34,000 copies. How? I don't know. Nowadays, those numbers aren't as bad as it sounds, but I assume by issue 2, the numbers are cut in half. By issue 3, who knows, 15,000 or under if people are buying it. The only reason I can think of is that they're buying it for the ancillary characters like Deadpool or Iron Man. I noticed in issue #1, the characters were drawn to look like little boys. No breasts, hips, just straight lines, and for some reason, they were scowling the whole time. The characters were drawn as plain and unattractive as possible, because attractiveness supports the patriarchy or something. Plus, if the characters were attractive, the book would sell better, and success is like kryptonite to NPCs. A problem with Gail Simone and some other SJW mainstream writers is that the reader knows they are racist and sexist, anti-Christians, etc. So, even in an otherwise fun story, it's in the back of your mind that the writer is a legitimate racist and sexist. It takes the fun out of the story. Hotshots isn't as bad as her Red Sonja Tarzan books. She isn't racist in Hotshots. She isn't anything. She's just really boring. Feels like nothing matters. There are no stakes because the characters aren't impressing me as smart or cunning or brave or self-sacrificing. And you're asking me to accept that these characters are capable of saving the world, but I haven't seen any evidence that these characters are anything special. They aren't smart. They don't have tricks up their sleeve. They don't do anything cool. They aren't beautiful or even in great shape. In comparison, Deadpool shows up and is ripped and shredded, just packed with muscle. So why aren't the women either in shape or knockouts? Because in Gail's feminist world, women don't have to be attractive or talented. That begs the question, why would someone pay $4 for a mediocre, cliché book when there are alternatives with beautiful people doing amazing things? That's one of the reasons the mainstream NPC comics are terrified of Ethan Van Sciver and Richard Meyer. Because the Comicsgate books offer everything that mainstream NPC comics don't. Comicsgate books are fun and sexy and don't grind an axe. Plus, they don't call the customers the four-letter N-word that I can't say on YouTube. So are there any positives about Hotshots? Not in the writing, no. It's really boring. Even the art can't save the bad writing. Notice every single image is the same scowling face. I feel like there's a political officer standing over the artist with a whip. If he ever thinks of drawing more than a B cup, he gets a beating. Compare the first cover to the second and third. I can't imagine how the first cover got accepted. I thought D cups were verboten. Notice the first cover? Get a good look. And the second cover. Notice what's missing? I don't know how this first cover got past them. This is a good cover. I mean, except for the Michael Jackson in the center, but the bodies are smoking. That is an entirely different message to the reader. Everything is concealed. Very strange. Anyway, the comic is really bad. If you paid $4, you paid $3 too much. Let's take a... Oh, God, just look at those expressions. Every single expression is just... Thanks, Gail. Let's take a look at something better. This is Indiecron, the Comicsgate hub, and in case of the Littlest Umbrella, nearly everything on this book is better than mainstream comics. Littlest Umbrella, Jawbreakers, Wicked, Sporksman Go to Japan, Necromancer, Omnibus, The Maiden's War. That looks pretty damn good. Let me see if I can get Vestige, The Ferryman by what's that guy's name? I want to say Sean Campbell, I think. Mike Miller's Indiegogo, Lone Star. All of these books are pretty damn good. Especially this one. It's Epitaph, Bread and Salt, Beginning of the End. Look at that. That is a comics book cover. That looks like a fun comic. Zombies and Vampires or something. Looks like a lot of fun. I hope this thing gets funded. Anyway, check out Indiecron. I'll leave the link in the description.